In this slide, I'm going to ask you to stop the video and have a go at filling in this table. And this table is the idea of this behind this table is to help you practice what ion will the following elements form, how the equation will look like, and if you want to have a go at the name, that would be fantastic. You will be able to find them online. I'm going to do the first example, so I'll talk you through the table and you know exactly what I'm expecting you to do. So the first column contains the symbol of that element, and we've got fluorine, oxygen, nitrogen, sodium, calcium, magnesium, and aluminium. In the second column, I'm telling you if it loses or gains electrons. And I know that because I know the electron configuration, I know what's going to be the most stable ion they can form. That is beyond the scope of this module, but if you're interested in why fluorine gains 1 electron but oxygen gains 2, by all means have a chat with me, because I would love to talk to you about this. At the moment, let's accept this at face value. This is what's going to happen. So for example, fluorine, G means gains, and L means loses. So fluorine will gain 1 electron. How will the ion will look like? What will be the formula of the ion? Well, it will be the formula of the element, F, and with 1 negative charge. And the negative charge is that it has gained 1 electron. How will the equation look like? Well, in a similar way to when I did the equation for chloride, we could represent this gaining of electron in a chemical equation in the following way. An atom of fluorine gains 1 electron, and the product will be the ion of fluorine, and an ion. And finally, the last column asks you for the name, and you will have to find out. I would encourage you to look at one of the resources I've recommended in Blackboard, etc., and have a look at how that ion is called. In this case, when a fluorine gains 1 electron, it becomes an ion of fluoride. So now, please stop the video and have a go at filling the rest of the table. Stop the video now, please. I hope you stopped the video and had a go at filling this table. I took the liberty of filling the table before turning on the recording again, because I thought it could be quite boring if you saw me doing all of them one after the other. But I've left 2 examples to do together, one of an anion and one for a cation. So I've left the example of oxygen to fill in now. So oxygen, it tells me in the second column that gains 2 electrons. Well, if it gains 2 electrons, then the ion will look like this, oxygen with 2 negative charges. Each negative charge is 1 electron. How will that equation look like? Well, I can represent this gaining 2 electrons as an atom of oxygen that gains 2 electrons and become oxygen with 2 negative charges. And it has a name, that O2 minus has a name, and it's called oxide. It's actually quite a famous anion, I would say. So for the example of calcium, I've left an example of a positive ion. So I've left calcium undone, and calcium, it does say in the table, in the second column, it loses 2 electrons. Okay, if it loses 2 electrons, it means that, well, calcium, that's the symbol of the atom. If it loses 2 electrons, it means that it ends up with 2 positive charges. Because of all the protons, 2 of them that were compensated before in the atom when it was neutral, because the electrons have been lost, then there are 2 positive charges in the nucleus that are not compensated by any electrons. And how is how can you present this with a chemical equation? Well, we can write that our atom of calcium has reacted to produce calcium with 2 positive charges, and it has lost 2 electrons. It's one of the products of the reaction. One product will be the calcium with 2 positive charges. The other product will be the 2 electrons. And as I mentioned before, positive ions do not change the name. So it's the name of the atom, in this case calcium. And it gets the word ion tag into it, into the name.